Hello, my name is Tony Mays. I am the Education Specialist for Open Schooling at the Commonwealth of Learning. This is the last of 11 presentations, which summarize the key issues in different chapters of Cole's new publication addressing the needs of out-of-school children and youths through expansion of open schooling. This final presentation reflects on Chapter 14, the concluding remarks by the editors Tony Mays and Rajiv Kumar Singh. In Chapter 14, we summarize the key learning and guidelines for open schooling going forward. The discussion in this final chapter is, as usual, built around 5 key questions. What are our key open schooling concerns currently? What open schooling models might we employ? What are the key components of any open schooling model? What perspectives inform open schooling decisions? And then what are the implications for our own future open schooling practice? So let us start with our first question, which explores our current concerns. COVID-19 brought ODL provision to the forefront of schooling practitioners' minds and emphasized the value of having open schooling as part of a resilient schooling system. Countries that already had open schools were able to build on that experience and use both the experience and the content to support out-of-school children learning at home remotely. But there is now a need to refocus on our primary target audience, the children who could not get to school in the first place. And there, at any one time, probably around 300 million such children. So what OS models, what open schooling models might we employ to support such children? We have to choose an institutional model that suits our particular context. So for example, a fully independent open school, such as NIOS in India, maybe a semi-autonomous open school, such as NAMCOL, Malawi College of Distance Education, the Zambian College of Distance Education. Maybe it will work better as part of an open university, as happens in both Bangladesh and in Botswana. Or perhaps it is better placed within a ministry, as happens with FODI in PNG and with DODI in Zambia. Professor Sugata Mitra's famous Hole in the Wall project indicated that if we create appropriate opportunities, children will learn. And different learning models might suit different learners and different contexts. Given the diversity of possible approaches, what are the key components of any open schooling model? Well, we need some content to get the learning started. Much content will continue to be text-based, but we can also develop audio or video versions of text to assist learners with visual aural impairments. Video can also be used very effectively to illustrate systems and processes and places that it would be difficult to get to in person. As we develop the learning resources, we need to simultaneously develop appropriate assessment activities that are linked to both the content and the intended module and program learning outcomes. And that will typically involve self-assessment, peer assessment, and tutor or teacher assessment. Although some learners will be able to work independently through well-scaffolded learning resources, most will require some support from others during that process. And this could be face-to-face, online, or via social media, both with peers as well as with institutional staff. Institutional staff will probably provide support of an administrative, financial, and academic nature, again using diverse media, from telephone through to mobile, through to online live video conferencing. So we can develop a program, we can identify and put together all the content that we need and put in place the peer support and institutional support mechanisms. But those things will not typically be possible unless we have a supportive policy framework in place. And that framework will probably deal with the relationship between policy and planning, how we gather and use learner information, with the processes we follow for program development, course design, course materials development, and the development of an appropriate assessment strategy. The guidelines for supporting learners and the implications of that for our human resources. The processes and the policies and procedures for the management, administration, and financing of our open schooling operations, which will often involve collaborative relationships. We also need to think about how we will manage our quality assurance processes and how that links to our monitoring and evaluation strategies. We still need to do ongoing work for advocating for open schooling and for sharing information about the benefits as well as some of the challenges and how they can be overcome. And of course, we want a strong focus on results, that learners successfully complete their schooling. So what perspectives inform open schooling decisions? Well, obviously, we need to hear from the learners themselves, whether the learning programs and the support mechanisms we put in place for them are meeting their needs. We need to talk to the teachers so that they understand the implications and get this training and support that they need. We need to engage with other institutional, employer and national bodies that have a stake in the quality of the students that we present. We need to think about what's happening both at a regional and a global level also. So what are the implications for future provision? Well, after reading chapter 14, we think it would be useful to discuss questions like the following. Is there a need for expanded open schooling in your own context? If yes, what strengths and opportunities can you build upon? What weaknesses and threats need to be mitigated? With whom should you be talking? And what is the first step to be taken? As with all COL resources, this presentation is available under an open license, CC by SA. We thank you for your time, and we look forward to the discussions that we hope will follow.